Quiet confidence is a profound strength that often goes unnoticed in a world that rewards loudness and visibility. It is not about shrinking or hiding, it is about knowing who you are and trusting that your presence speaks for itself. Silent women who embody this kind of confidence are like the roots of a great tree. They may not always be seen, but they are the reason the tree stands tall, unwavering in storms. Their strength is not in making noise, but in their steady, grounded sense of self. This kind of confidence doesn't demand validation from the outside world. It's cultivated through self-awareness and an understanding that worth isn't something to be proven, but something that simply is. Silent women carry themselves with an assurance that commands respect, not through dominance, but through the quiet power of being. Their confidence doesn't seek to overpower others, it creates space for everyone to feel valued and heard. It's not competitive, but collaborative, drawing people in rather than pushing them away. Quiet confidence is also about choosing the right moments to speak. Silent women know the value of their voice and do not squander it on things that don't matter. When they do speak, their words carry weight because they come from a place of thoughtfulness and intention. Their silence isn't emptiness, it's filled with reflection, wisdom, and the ability to discern what truly matters. And in their silence, there's a lesson for all of us. It reminds us that we don't need to fill every moment with words to make an impact. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply show up as our authentic selves, standing firm in who we are without explanation or apology. That is the essence of quiet confidence. It's not about being silent to be small, it's about being silent because your strength already fills the room. Listening is one of the most underestimated forms of power. It is not passive or secondary, it is an active, deliberate choice to focus on understanding rather than responding. Silent women, in their ability to truly listen, wield a superpower that transforms relationships, fosters connection, and even shapes the course of their lives. Listening isn't just about hearing words, it's about understanding the heart behind them, the unspoken emotions, and the nuances that others might miss. When a silent woman listens, she creates a space where others feel seen and valued. In a world often dominated by the need to be heard, her willingness to pause and let others share their truths can be disarming. It's a rare gift to feel truly understood, and silent women have a way of offering that gift without fanfare. Their silence in these moments isn't empty, it's a vessel that holds the weight of someone else's story. It's an act of courage and generosity, allowing them to step out of the spotlight so that someone else can shine. Listening is also a tool of incredible insight. Silent women understand that when they listen deeply, they learn more than they ever could by speaking. They pick up on details, emotions, and patterns that others might miss. This ability to gather information both from what is said and what is left unsaid allows them to approach situations with clarity and wisdom. They don't rush to conclusions or judgments. Instead, they let the full picture emerge before taking action. But listening isn't always easy. It requires patience, humility, and a willingness to be present, even when the conversation is uncomfortable or challenging. Silent women demonstrate this strength by staying engaged, resisting the urge to interrupt or offer solutions too quickly. They understand that listening is not about fixing, but about witnessing, holding space for someone to feel heard and validated. And perhaps most importantly, silent women listen to themselves. They pay attention to the quiet whispers of their intuition, the internal signals that guide their choices and actions. By listening inwardly, they align their lives with their values and maintain a sense of integrity that others admire. In this way, their listening becomes a bridge between understanding others and understanding themselves, creating a life rich with connection and purpose. Listening, when practiced with intention, is a superpower that can heal, guide, and transform. Silent women, in their ability to wield this power, remind us that sometimes the most profound impact we can have isn't in what we say, but in how deeply we listen. Resilience in adversity is one of the defining strengths of silent women. It is not about the absence of struggle, but about the ability to endure and transform through it. In the face of challenges, silent women exhibit a quiet resolve that often goes unnoticed but is deeply impactful. Their resilience isn't flashy or loud, it's steady, deliberate, and rooted in an unwavering belief that they can overcome whatever life throws at them. This resilience is born from a deep inner strength that allows them to stand firm even when the ground beneath them feels unsteady. Silent women understand that adversity is not a verdict on their worth, but an inevitable part of life. They don't waste energy fighting the existence of difficulty. Instead, they channel their focus into navigating it. Their approach is neither reckless nor hurried. They move with purpose, taking one step at a time, trusting that every step matters. What sets silent women apart is their ability to process pain and setbacks internally, without seeking constant external validation. This doesn't mean they suffer in isolation. It means they have learned to trust themselves to weather the storm. They find solace and strength in their own ability to reflect, adapt, and keep going. In their silence, they build an inner fortress, one made not of impenetrable walls, but of a flexible, enduring spirit that bends without breaking. Silent women also have a remarkable ability to find meaning in hardship. They don't deny the pain or try to bypass it. Instead, they sit with it, learn from it, and let it shape them. Adversity becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. This perspective allows them to emerge from difficult seasons not just as survivors, but as individuals who are stronger, wiser, and more empathetic. Their resilience inspires others, often without them even realizing it. They show that it's possible to endure the worst and still hold on to hope, to experience heartbreak and still choose love, to face failure and still pursue growth. At the heart of their resilience is an incredible capacity for self-compassion. Silent women understand that resilience is not about pretending to be invincible, but about allowing themselves to feel, to grieve, and to heal. They know that strength isn't the absence of vulnerability, it's the courage to embrace it. In their quiet moments, they tend to their wounds and rebuild their spirit, piece by piece. Resilience in adversity isn't loud or attention-seeking, it's a quiet determination that comes from within. Silent women exemplify this strength in ways that remind us all that true resilience doesn't need an audience, it simply needs a heart that refuses to give up. Emotional bravery is one of the most profound and transformative forms of courage. Silent women embody this strength, not because they shout their feelings from the rooftops, but because they are willing to face their emotions with honesty and vulnerability. Emotional bravery isn't about suppressing feelings or pretending everything is fine. It's about sitting with discomfort, acknowledging pain, and choosing to engage with the complexities of the human experience instead of running from them. For silent women, this bravery often goes unnoticed because it happens in the quiet, unseen corners of their lives. It's in the moments when they confront their fears without fanfare, when they navigate grief without outwardly breaking, or when they allow themselves to feel joy fully, even in the face of uncertainty. Emotional bravery is the willingness to risk being hurt, disappointed, or misunderstood for the sake of staying true to themselves and their values. This type of courage requires an incredible depth of self-awareness. Silent women take the time to understand their emotions, to unravel what they are feeling and why. They don't shy away from the hard questions: why does this hurt? What does this fear mean? What can I learn from this anger or sadness? By exploring their emotions instead of avoiding them, they build a profound resilience that allows them to weather emotional storms without losing themselves. Silent women also demonstrate emotional bravery in their relationships. They know that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a pathway to connection. It takes immense courage to let others see the tender, unguarded parts of their hearts, especially in a world that often rewards stoicism over softness. They take the risk of saying, "This is who I am, and this is what I feel," knowing full well they might not be met with understanding. But they do it anyway because they value authenticity over perfection and connection over performance. What makes emotional bravery so powerful is that it's not about denying fear, it's about acting in spite of it. Silent women feel the fear of being judged, rejected, or hurt, but they don't let it stop them from showing up as their true selves. They choose to have the hard conversations, to forgive even when it feels impossible, and to love even when it makes them vulnerable. This bravery creates a ripple effect, showing others that it's okay to be human, to feel deeply, and to embrace all the messiness that comes with it. At its core, emotional bravery is about trusting that you can handle what comes, trusting that your emotions won't overwhelm you, and trusting that showing up as your authentic self is enough. Silent women teach us that courage doesn't have to be loud or performative. Sometimes it's as simple and as profound as staying present with your emotions and choosing love, honesty, and hope, even when it's hard. Boundary setting is an act of self-respect and emotional preservation, and silent women often master this art in ways that are both subtle and powerful. Boundaries, at their core, are not walls meant to keep people out, but frameworks that protect one's emotional well-being while maintaining healthy relationships. Silent women understand that sometimes the most profound way to set a boundary is not with loud declarations, but with quiet, consistent action. Through silence, these women communicate their limits clearly and effectively. They don't engage in unnecessary arguments or long-winded explanations. Instead, they let their actions and presence or intentional absence speak for them. When they choose not to respond to certain behaviors or avoid situations that drain them, they are sending a clear message: this is where I stand, and I honor myself enough to uphold it. This approach is neither passive nor dismissive. It's deliberate and rooted in self-awareness. Silent women know that boundaries are not about controlling others, but about taking responsibility for their own needs. They trust that they don't have to justify or defend their boundaries for them to be valid. This quiet confidence allows them to say no without guilt and to prioritize their peace without apology. Their silence in the face of pressure or guilt tripping is not a sign of weakness, but a firm commitment to honoring their values and protecting their mental and emotional health. One of the most remarkable aspects of setting boundaries through silence is the grace it embodies. Silent women don't resort to anger or hostility to enforce their boundaries. They simply remove themselves from situations or relationships that no longer align with their well-being. This quiet strength often leaves a lasting impression on others, teaching them that boundaries can be maintained with dignity and without conflict. Setting boundaries through silence also requires a deep sense of self-trust. Silent women understand that they don't need others to validate their choices. They listen to their inner voice and let it guide their decisions, even when others don't understand or approve. This inner alignment allows them to remain steadfast in their boundaries, knowing that protecting their energy and peace is not selfish but essential. What makes this form of boundary setting so powerful is its simplicity and consistency. Silent women don't waver or send mixed signals. Their silence is not avoidance, it's a calm, steady reminder of where they stand. Over time, this consistency builds respect and trust in their relationships, showing others that their boundaries are not negotiable but are rooted in self-love and mutual respect. Boundary setting through silence is a profound act of self-care and empowerment. Silent women remind us that we don't need to shout to be heard or explain to be understood. Sometimes the quietest actions speak the loudest, asserting our worth and reinforcing the truth that we are responsible for protecting our own well-being. The strength in observing and learning is a quiet force that often goes unrecognized but holds immense power. Silent women embody this strength through their ability to notice, reflect, and grow from their surroundings without the need to constantly assert themselves. Observation is not passive, it is an active engagement with the world that allows silent women to see beyond the surface, understanding people, situations, and dynamics in ways that others often overlook. Through observation, silent women develop a keen sense of awareness. They pay attention not just to what is being said, but also to what is left unsaid, the subtle cues in body language, tone, and context. This ability to read between the lines gives them a unique perspective on relationships and environments. They see patterns, understand motivations, and anticipate outcomes, which enables them to make thoughtful decisions. Their silence is not disengagement, it's an intentional pause to absorb and understand before acting. Learning is the natural extension of observation, and silent women excel at turning what they observe into valuable insights. They approach the world with curiosity and openness, constantly taking in new information and using it to grow. Whether it's learning from their own experiences or from the successes and mistakes of others, silent women see every situation as an opportunity for personal development. They don't rush to judge or react. Instead, they seek to understand and adapt, allowing them to navigate life with wisdom and grace. This strength also gives silent women a remarkable ability to solve problems and innovate. Because they take the time to observe thoroughly, they often see solutions that others miss. They don't rely on impulsive reactions or loud proclamations to address challenges. Instead, they quietly analyze and strategize, coming up with thoughtful approaches that reflect both intelligence and empathy. Their ability to learn from what they observe ensures that their actions are intentional and impactful. Silent women also use their observational skills to foster deeper connections with others. By truly seeing and understanding people, they create spaces where others feel valued and appreciated. Their strength lies in their ability to listen not just with their ears, but with their hearts, making those around them feel heard and understood in ways that words alone cannot achieve. This depth of connection is a direct result of their willingness to observe and learn rather than rush to impose their own perspective. Perhaps the greatest strength in observing and learning is the humility it requires. Silent women recognize that they don't have all the answers and that there is always something new to discover. This humility allows them to remain adaptable and open-minded, embracing change and growth rather than resisting it. They understand that true strength lies not in knowing everything, but in being willing to learn and evolve continuously. In a world that often values speed and noise, the strength of observing and learning is a quiet yet transformative power. Silent women show us that there is immense value in slowing down, paying attention, and letting the world teach us its lessons. Their strength lies not in dominating a room, but in understanding it. And their wisdom reminds us that sometimes the most profound growth comes not from speaking, but from watching, listening, and learning. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in truth, it is one of the most profound expressions of strength. Silent women embody this paradox with grace, showing that being open, authentic, and emotionally exposed requires immense courage. Vulnerability is not about displaying every emotion or sharing every thought. It is about being real, even when it feels risky. Silent women understand this and live it in their own quiet, powerful way. The strength of vulnerability begins with self-acceptance. Silent women embrace their imperfections, their fears, and their struggles without letting those define them. They do not strive for an unattainable image of perfection. Instead, they honor their humanity. This honesty with themselves is a form of strength because it requires looking inward, facing the uncomfortable truths, and choosing growth over avoidance. By doing so, they cultivate an inner resilience that allows them to remain grounded no matter what life brings. Vulnerability also plays a crucial role in relationships, and silent women exemplify this in their connections with others. They understand that true intimacy and trust are built not on walls of self-protection, but on bridges of honesty. It takes courage to let someone see the parts of you that feel raw and unfinished, to say, "This is who I am." Even if it's messy, silent women take that risk, not for the sake of being seen, but because they value authenticity over pretense. They know that vulnerability creates the foundation for meaningful relationships where both parties feel safe to be themselves. Silent women also show that vulnerability is not about oversharing or emotional recklessness. It's about discerning when and where to open up, choosing moments that matter and people who can hold that space with care. This discernment is a strength in itself, reflecting self-respect and an understanding of boundaries. They don't use vulnerability to seek validation. They use it as a way to deepen connections and to honor their own truths. In their quiet way, silent women teach us that vulnerability is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward despite it. It takes strength to admit you don't have all the answers, to acknowledge when you're struggling, and to ask for help when needed. Silent women remind us that vulnerability doesn't diminish their strength, it amplifies it. By being real about their experiences, they inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of authenticity and courage. Vulnerability also allows silent women to tap into their creativity and adaptability. When they let go of the need to appear invulnerable, they open themselves up to new possibilities, ideas, and ways of being. They embrace failure as a part of the process and view challenges as opportunities to grow. This openness fuels their ability to learn, innovate, and transform, making them not just resilient, but truly empowered. At its heart, vulnerability is about connection both with others and with oneself. Silent women understand that to be vulnerable is to be seen, not for who you pretend to be, but for who you truly are. This is where their greatest strength lies in the courage to be real, even when it feels uncertain or uncomfortable. They show us that there is nothing stronger than a heart that is open, a mind that is curious, and a soul that is brave enough to say, "This is me, and I am enough." The legacy of quiet influence is a powerful force that transcends words and actions, leaving an indelible mark on the lives it touches. Silent women exemplify this kind of influence, demonstrating that leadership and impact are not always loud or overt. Their legacy is built not through grand gestures, but through the steady, consistent way they show up in the world, inspiring others by living with integrity, purpose, and quiet strength. Quiet influence begins with the ability to lead by example. Silent women don't need to command attention to make a difference. Instead, they inspire through their actions, embodying qualities like kindness, patience, resilience, and authenticity. They model what it means to live a life aligned with one's values, showing others that true power comes from within. Their influence is not about control or authority, it's about being a steady presence that others can look to for guidance and inspiration. This type of influence is often rooted in the small, seemingly insignificant choices silent women make each day. It's in how they treat others with respect and compassion, even when no one is watching. It's in their willingness to listen, to support, and to offer a quiet word of encouragement at just the right moment. These actions, though subtle, create ripples that extend far beyond their immediate reach, shaping the lives of those around them in profound ways. The legacy of quiet influence is also deeply relational. Silent women build connections based on trust, empathy, and understanding. They don't seek to dominate conversations or impose their perspectives. Instead, they create spaces where others feel seen, heard, and valued. This ability to foster genuine relationships allows their influence to grow organically, spreading through the lives they touch. People remember how silent women made them feel valued, respected, and inspired, and carry those feelings forward in their own interactions. Another hallmark of quiet influence is its longevity. While loud, attention-grabbing efforts may fade quickly, the impact of a silent woman often endures because it is built on a foundation of authenticity and purpose. Silent women invest in the long game, focusing not on immediate recognition, but on creating lasting change. Their influence may not always be acknowledged in the moment, but its effects are felt for years, even generations to come. Silent women also shape their legacy through the wisdom they impart, often in subtle ways. They don't need to preach or lecture to share their insights. Instead, they lead others to their own realizations through thoughtful questions, careful observations, and quiet encouragement. This approach empowers those around them to grow and learn in their own right, creating a ripple effect of wisdom and empowerment. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the legacy of quiet influence is its humility. Silent women don't seek recognition or accolades. They are content knowing that they have made a difference, even if no one ever knows their name. Their legacy is not about building monuments to themselves, but about planting seeds of change, hope, and kindness that will continue to grow long after they are gone. The legacy of quiet influence reminds us that true impact doesn't require a spotlight. It shows us that the most lasting and meaningful change often happens in the background through the steady, consistent efforts of those who lead with their hearts and live with purpose. Silent women teach us that a legacy isn't about being remembered for what you said or did, it's about leaving the world a little better because of who you were. Listening is an extraordinary superpower that silent women wield with grace and intentionality. In a world that often prioritizes speaking over hearing, their ability to listen deeply stands out as a rare and transformative skill. Listening is not simply about hearing words, it is about being fully present, understanding emotions, and connecting with the essence of what someone is trying to communicate. Silent women excel at this, turning the act of listening into a force for healing, connection, and change. The strength of listening lies in its capacity to make others feel seen and valued. Silent women, through their attentive presence, create a safe space where people feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and emotions. They listen without rushing to respond or fix, allowing the speaker to process their feelings without judgment or interruption. This type of listening is a profound act of respect. It says, "Your story matters and I am here to hear it." Silent women understand that listening is about more than just taking in information. It's about seeking understanding. They are attuned to the nuances in tone, body language, and the pauses between words. They notice what is said and what is left unsaid, uncovering the layers of meaning beneath the surface. This deep listening helps them grasp the full context of a situation, making their responses thoughtful and intentional. Listening as a superpower also requires humility and patience. Silent women don't listen to impose their own views or prepare their next argument. They listen to learn. This openness to others' perspectives fosters trust and builds relationships rooted in mutual respect. It takes strength to quiet one's own ego and truly focus on someone else's experience, and silent women do this with remarkable skill. Through their listening, silent women often act as catalysts for transformation. They don't have to offer solutions to make an impact. Their presence alone can help others find clarity and strength within themselves. By listening deeply, they empower those around them to feel understood and validated, which can inspire confidence and growth. In this way, their listening becomes a gift that ripples outward, creating positive change in ways that are both subtle and profound. Silent women also apply their listening superpower inwardly. They take time to listen to their own thoughts, emotions, and intuition, cultivating self-awareness and inner alignment. This ability to tune into their inner voice helps them navigate life with clarity and purpose. By listening to themselves as attentively as they listen to others, they ensure that their actions are guided by their values and priorities. Listening for silent women is a way of creating connection and fostering understanding in a world that often feels chaotic and disconnected. It is not a passive act, but a deliberate choice to engage with the world in a meaningful way. They show that listening is not a weakness or a retreat. It is a powerful act of strength that builds bridges, heals divides, and nurtures relationships. The superpower of listening teaches us that impact doesn't always come from what we say. Often the most profound influence comes from our willingness to hear, to understand, and to hold space for others. Silent women remind us that listening is not just a skill, it's a way of being, one that has the power to transform both the listener and the world around them. Resilience in adversity is not about avoiding hardship, but about how we respond when life tests us. Silent women embody this resilience in ways that are both quiet and profound. Their strength is not found in grand gestures or loud proclamations of perseverance. It lies in their ability to endure, adapt, and grow through life's challenges, no matter how overwhelming they may seem. For silent women, adversity is not something to be feared, but a terrain to be navigated with grace, determination, and patience. In moments of hardship, silent women exhibit a quiet, steady resolve that is often mistaken for passivity. They don't react impulsively to difficulties. Instead, they take time to assess the situation, to understand the emotional weight of it, and to find the most thoughtful course of action. This ability to pause and reflect allows them to approach adversity with a clear mind, making decisions that are rooted in wisdom and self-awareness rather than in fear or desperation. What makes silent women particularly resilient is their capacity to embrace discomfort without letting it define them. They understand that pain, loss, and failure are part of the human experience, and rather than running from these emotions, they lean into them. They don't ignore or suppress their struggles. They face them head-on, knowing that in doing so, they will emerge stronger on the other side. This willingness to sit with discomfort, to allow it to shape them rather than break them, is what sets them apart as paragons of resilience. Silent women also possess a deep inner strength that enables them to keep going even when the road is long and arduous. They don't give up easily, nor do they seek external validation to keep pushing forward. Their resilience comes from an unwavering belief in their ability to endure and overcome. They understand that healing, growth, and success take time, and they are willing to show up each day, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against them. This quiet determination is what helps them weather life's storms, no matter how fierce they may be. Another key aspect of their resilience is their ability to learn from adversity. Silent women see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles to be avoided. They view setbacks not as signs of failure, but as valuable lessons that help them become better versions of themselves. They are not defined by their struggles, rather, they use those experiences to deepen their understanding of themselves and the world around them. In this way, adversity becomes a powerful tool for personal evolution. Resilience in adversity also means finding strength in vulnerability. Silent women are often deeply introspective, and in moments of hardship, they are not afraid to confront their own vulnerabilities. They acknowledge when they are struggling, when they need help, and when they are not okay. This doesn't make them weak, it makes them human. By embracing their vulnerabilities, they create space for healing and growth, and in doing so, they inspire others to do the same. In their resilience, silent women teach us that adversity does not have to break us, it can build us. They show us that we are capable of more than we often believe, that we can endure, heal, and grow through the toughest of times. Their resilience is a reminder that strength does not always have to be loud or visible sometimes. It is found in the quiet, steady determination to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the journey may be. Through their example, we learn that adversity does not define us, it refines us. Emotional bravery is the courage to face the full range of our emotions, to allow ourselves to feel deeply and authentically, even in the face of vulnerability, pain, or fear. For silent women, emotional bravery is not always visible. It is not expressed in dramatic outbursts or external displays of strength. Instead, it is a quiet but steadfast commitment to honor their emotional truths, to stay present with their feelings, and to confront them with grace even when it feels overwhelming. Emotional bravery requires the willingness to acknowledge emotions as they come without suppressing or denying them. Silent women understand that to experience the full depth of joy, love, and peace, they must also allow themselves to feel sadness, fear, and anger. Rather than running from difficult emotions, they choose to face them head-on, knowing that in doing so, they reclaim their power. They do not hide behind walls of emotional detachment or pretend that everything is fine when it is not. They allow their hearts to be open, knowing that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a source of strength. This kind of bravery demands an unshakable self-awareness. Silent women have an intuitive understanding of their inner emotional landscape. They can sit with discomfort and allow it to unfold, trusting that all emotions, whether positive or negative, are part of the human experience. They understand that emotional honesty is essential to healing and growth, and they are not afraid to confront difficult feelings when they arise. They do not shy away from the hard work of emotional processing, even if it means sitting in pain for a while before moving through it. At the heart of emotional bravery is the willingness to embrace imperfection. Silent women do not expect themselves to always have it all together, nor do they seek perfection in others. They accept that they are human with all the flaws, weaknesses, and complexities that come with it. This acceptance allows them to approach their emotions without judgment, knowing that it is okay to feel uncertain, lost, or broken at times. They do not demand that they always be strong or in control. They allow themselves to be real, and in doing so, they model a kind of emotional honesty that encourages others to do the same. One of the most profound aspects of emotional bravery is the courage to express feelings, even when it feels risky. Silent women know that sharing their true emotional experiences requires vulnerability and trust, but they also understand that withholding emotions only leads to stagnation and isolation. They speak their truths with authenticity, whether it's a joy, a sorrow, or a fear, and in doing so, they create space for others to do the same. They do not hide their tears or their frustrations, nor do they silence their joys. Instead, they give voice to their emotions in a way that is both powerful and liberating. Emotional bravery also involves setting boundaries that protect emotional well-being. Silent women do not allow others to dismiss their feelings or impose emotional burdens on them. They know when to say no, when to step away, and when to advocate for themselves, all while staying true to their inner emotional compass. This courage to protect their emotional space enables them to preserve their peace and maintain a sense of integrity, even in difficult situations. They understand that emotional bravery is not just about facing their own feelings, but about protecting their heart from toxicity and harm. This bravery is also an act of compassion. Silent women have the capacity to empathize deeply with the emotions of others, and they do so without judgment or expectation. They sit with others in their pain, offering a quiet but powerful presence that allows others to feel seen and understood. By showing up with emotional bravery, they teach others the value of acknowledging and expressing their feelings, creating a ripple effect that encourages emotional openness and vulnerability in the world around them. Ultimately, emotional bravery is about living with authenticity even when it is uncomfortable. Silent women show us that strength is not about holding everything together at all times. It is about having the courage to fall apart, to grieve, to fear, and to love openly without apology. Their emotional bravery reminds us that true courage does not come from hiding our feelings or pretending we are invulnerable. It comes from embracing our emotions with honesty and grace, allowing them to flow through us rather than control us. In doing so, silent women not only create space for their own healing, but inspire those around them to embrace their emotions fully, creating a world where vulnerability is met with compassion and courage. Boundary setting through silence is a subtle yet incredibly powerful form of self-preservation. Silent women understand that boundaries are not always about confrontation or making demands. Sometimes they are about knowing when to withdraw, when to stay quiet, and when to protect their energy by saying nothing at all. This ability to set boundaries through silence comes from a deep place of self-respect and awareness, and it requires a quiet strength that is often underestimated. At its core, boundary setting through silence is about protecting one's emotional, mental, and physical space without needing to explain or justify oneself. Silent women do not feel the need to constantly assert their limits with words. Instead, they communicate their boundaries through their presence, their actions, and at times their silence. This silence serves as a powerful tool to convey that certain behaviors, requests, or energies are not welcome. By withholding a response or disengaging from a conversation, they set a clear message: this is not acceptable, or I need space, without needing to utter a single word. Silence can be a form of refusal. In many situations, silent women know that saying nothing is often more effective than engaging in a debate or a long explanation. When faced with something that doesn't align with their values or emotional needs, they may choose to stay silent rather than expend energy trying to convince someone of their point of view. This silence is not passive, it is intentional. It is a way of communicating that certain lines cannot be crossed, that certain requests are beyond what they are willing or able to give. Through their silence, silent women also communicate their need for self-care and introspection. They understand that not every moment requires engagement, and sometimes the best way to protect their well-being is by retreating into silence. Whether it's stepping away from a social situation that feels draining or choosing not to respond to a request that feels overwhelming, they know that taking time for themselves is essential for maintaining their emotional balance. This kind of boundary setting, though quiet, is a form of self-respect. It sends a message that their energy, time, and emotions are valuable and that they are not to be depleted by others' demands or expectations. Setting boundaries through silence also allows silent women to avoid unnecessary conflict. They do not feel the need to justify their feelings or explain their decisions, especially when they know that doing so would only lead to a draining back and forth. Instead, they trust that their actions and their silence will speak volumes. In relationships, this can be especially powerful as it prevents unnecessary friction and forces the other party to recognize and respect the boundary without further engagement. By remaining silent, they teach others that their needs are non-negotiable and that their silence is a firm and eloquent response to any attempt to overstep. This form of boundary setting also speaks to emotional intelligence. Silent women know when to withhold their thoughts or responses to avoid escalating a situation or getting caught in a cycle of negativity. In moments of tension or disagreement, their silence can be a deliberate choice to protect the relationship, ensuring that they do not react in a way they might later regret. It is an act of emotional discipline, as they choose to wait for the right moment to speak or to hold their peace entirely when they sense that further dialogue would be unproductive. Boundaries set through silence also communicate deep inner strength and clarity. Silent women have a quiet confidence in their ability to honor themselves and their limits. They do not need external validation to reinforce their decisions. Their boundaries are not up for negotiation or explanation because they are grounded in self-awareness. Through their silence, they show the world that they are in control of their own space, and that they will not allow anyone or anything to diminish their sense of self-worth or peace. This form of boundary setting through silence requires an incredible amount of self-trust. Silent women have learned over time that their silence is enough to convey what words cannot. They have confidence in their ability to protect their own energy without the need for constant verbal justification. When they set boundaries in silence, it is because they trust that their presence and their actions speak louder than any words ever could. In a world that often demands constant talking, they prove that sometimes the most powerful message is the one left unsaid. Strength in observing and learning is an understated yet profoundly impactful form of power. Silent women embody this strength in their ability to observe the world around them with sharp insight, taking in the details that others may overlook. Rather than rushing to action or speaking immediately, they pause, absorb, and reflect. This process of quiet observation allows them to gather a deeper understanding of people, situations, and even themselves, cultivating a wisdom that is both profound and subtle. The strength lies not in acting impulsively, but in the ability to take in information and assess it before responding. Silent women understand the value of reflection. They know that in moments of uncertainty or complexity, the best approach is often to step back and allow things to unfold before making a decision. By observing the dynamics of the situation or the emotions of those around them, they are able to choose the most effective course of action. They may not always speak or act immediately, but when they do, their responses are thoughtful, measured, and deeply informed. This strength also lies in the willingness to learn from everything and everyone. Silent women are constantly learning, not just from their own experiences, but from those around them. They do not need to be the center of attention, and they are not concerned with having the last word. Instead, they observe, listen, and learn, recognizing that everyone has something valuable to teach. Whether through casual conversations or watching how others handle challenges, they absorb wisdom in ways that are often imperceptible to others. They understand that there is always something to learn, even in the most difficult or uncomfortable situations. Through their observation, silent women also develop an acute sense of emotional intelligence. They notice how people react in different circumstances, how they express their feelings, and how their words align with their actions. This ability to read the unspoken allows silent women to navigate complex relationships with ease. They know when to offer support, when to step back, and when to engage in difficult conversations. Their ability to understand the emotions and needs of others without needing to be told is a testament to their deep strength in observation. The strength in observing and learning also enables silent women to be exceptional problem solvers. By watching how others handle challenges or how systems operate, they are able to identify patterns, anticipate obstacles, and come up with innovative solutions. They see things from multiple angles, recognizing nuances and subtleties that may be missed by others. This makes them excellent at finding solutions that are both practical and effective. Because they take the time to truly understand a situation, their solutions are often more sustainable and far-reaching than quick, impulsive decisions. Silent women also have the strength to learn from their own experiences and mistakes. They are introspective and unafraid to examine their past choices, looking for lessons and opportunities for growth. This self-awareness allows them to adapt and evolve, turning failures into stepping stones rather than setbacks. Through quiet reflection, they build resilience, gaining wisdom that makes them more capable and grounded with each passing challenge. Moreover, the strength of observing and learning is rooted in humility. Silent women do not feel the need to prove themselves by dominating conversations or asserting their opinions. They know that true strength is found in the ability to learn from others and to be open to new ideas. This humility allows them to remain teachable and adaptable rather than rigid in their thinking. They understand that every interaction, every challenge, and every person can offer a lesson, and they approach the world with an open mind and heart, always ready to learn and grow. Ultimately, the strength in observing and learning gives silent women a unique and often underestimated power. They are not quick to act or speak, but when they do so with a depth of understanding that others cannot easily replicate. Their ability to take in information, reflect on it, and respond thoughtfully allows them to navigate the complexities of life with grace and wisdom. In a world that often values speed and immediacy, the strength of observation and learning teaches us that sometimes the greatest power comes from taking the time to listen, observe, and reflect before acting.